Our project is a global mobile typing aid, and our customer is Washington from Nestle Industries. Our purpose for the project was to develop speech recognition that's primarily done on the National Instruments LabVIEW FPGA. It's programmed everything on it and compiled through the FPGA. We distinguished two letters, E and I. We chose the letters E and I after having 3D plots of the vector coefficients, and we realized that E and I were very distinguishable, so there were two good letters to choose to distinguish them successfully. And we used the PXI 334 chassis to help them. This is an example of a LabVIEW code. It's very graphical based. Everything you drop functions and connected wires. So it's nice to see the data flowing from the input over to the output. And it's a lot better than the old fashioned code where you can't really see the data flowing. So it's pretty nice to see. This is our prototype here. This is our microphone where you speak in A, E, and the whole analysis will be done on an FPGA that's in the PXI chassis. The whole analysis will be done there, and then we would output a letter in a computer in MS Word. And this is another example of a LabVIEW code. And another neat part about LabVIEW is once you have code, you can make it a function itself. We don't have any of that, but you can make a little box. So you just have a very complicated program, but just in a couple of boxes.
Here's a block diagram of the portable vocal typing aid system. First, signals acquired using the microphone. The signals then amplified and passed through a filter before going on to the FPGA's data acquisition device. On the FPGA, the signals broken down into windows of 256 samples apiece is then sent to an algorithm that determines whether or not it is speech. If it is speech, it goes to the analysis block, which calculates 4 extra coefficients. The decision block uses these coefficients to determine which letter was spoken. The letter is then printed to a Microsoft Word document. While we were designing the portable vocal typing aid, we had to write a number of our own functions because they did not come available with LabVIEW FPGA. These include an efficient fixed point multiply, an FFT algorithm, and a logarithm calculation. In order to test the portable vocal typing aid, we spoke a sequence of the letters E and I into a microphone. And the portable vocal typing aid determined which letter was spoken, and this was output into Microsoft Word, as you can see in that picture. We will now discuss the subsystems of the portable vocal typing aid. These include the audio input, the pre-emphasis filter.
You can try pressing S video and not on your computer, on the
Subsystems include the audio input, pre-emphasis filtering, windowing, speech detection, speech analysis, and the decision block. The audio input subsystem consists of the microphone and the amplifier. The signal is acquired using the microphone, and it must be amplified so that it is usable by the FPGA. The FPGA data acquisition device samples the signal at 10 kilohertz. We chose this sampling rate because our analysis showed that a 5 kilohertz cutoff frequency gave us enough information to be able to differentiate between different letters.
After the data is sampled and taken in from the input hardware, we pass it through a digital pre-emphasis filter, which we use to it makes the data more uniform, more usable, and flattens out the spectrum so that we can easily determine the letters from each other.
It's high res.
And as you can see, this is the filter similar to the one we designed, the magnitude response. After the data goes through, passes through the digital filter, it's windowed into, sectioned off into 256 sample length windows, which are then input into RAM, and we apply a Hamming window, which helps remove edge effects that can cause problems with the analysis of the null capturing function. And the windowing section also handles organizing the data in the memory on the FPGA, which is very important because we use memory to transfer all the data between functions and with the data main data communication on the device. The speech detection, we use an energy threshold so that if the energy within a given window is above a certain threshold, it registers as being speech and sends control signals out to start analysis and begin deciding. And when it detects that the letter has ended, it tells the deciding block to submit the results to the host computer. The analysis we use to determine the speech is the Mel-Kapstrom. And this is a very robust method of analyzing speech, and it's very good at extracting the features of language and removes variability between speakers. And as you can see here, this is just using 3 Kapstrom coefficients. You can see each color is a different letter, and they're very separate calculations using the Mel-Kapstrom. And when implementing this on the FPGA, we implement it with the FFT algorithm that we designed, using the Mel filter bank, which is perceptually weighted to mimic human hearing, and proceeding to the discrete cosine transform, which improves energy compaction and gives us a lot more information in a few coefficients.
The Mel-Kapstrom coefficients are fed into the decision block, which determine the most likely letter and outputs this as an index. Now over here we have the observation space in 3 dimensions. You can see that there's a distinct region for the E coefficients versus the I coefficients. So the next step is communicating with the computer. So there's an interrupt used to ensure that the computer and the FPGA sync together to communicate this letter index. This index is then processed by our report generation tool, which converts it to a letter that's output to Microsoft Word. So our project is a proof of concept. For further development, we would need some more efficient and accurate computations to allow for more letters to be available on the FPGA's analysis. Also, there was a lot of
Just hold on. Don't worry about the time. Let's get this fixed. Or let's get the other projector ready.
Thank you.